Hey guys, I have Kristen Perry here with me today. She's been a client of mine since
I was a senior in high school, so 2013.
yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
So I always call her my baby Gigi, and now that she's grown up, I'm still calling her that. I don't think I'll
Just always
yeah,
be.
you'll just always be the baby Gigi. So I've gotten to watch her sort of grow up a little bit. So it's been cool, and now she's like a woman, and it feels weird sometimes because we have like, you know, woman conversations.
Yeah, yeah.
So I consider her, you know, my equal now. But at first I felt like, you know, she was just my little kid or something.
I still feel like that though. Yeah, it's still like that.
But so when we first started, she has always done pageants. That was her thing. So we kind of off and on trained during that when you were a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I got a chance to sort of help her mold her idea about nutrition and being in the pageant scene. She was kind of battling some, I guess, like some not very good norms as far as nutrition goes, because the goal was to be very, very small. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not downing the pageant thing, but I didn't know how to train her and do her nutrition based on that. And so we had to kind of figure that out together, right?
Yeah.
And so she sort of made the decision to be, you know, go the healthy route, and was able to still get very small and have the look that she needed for doing the pageants.
Kristen Perry.
So what have you done just recently as far as the pageant thing, and then kind of just taking where you're at right now with it?
Yeah, so I guess when we started, I was in like the teen pageant phase, so I wasn't competing in swimsuit or anything. It was really just like a confidence thing, and that's how we started out. Then we moved into the swimsuit phase of pageants, and that's when the pressure really started building. And I always tell people, being with Hope through those years was really a lifesaver for me, because that world, there's so much good and so much positive that can come out of it, but there is a lot of pressure when it comes to body and image and all of that. So it was always helpful to come in here and know that, like, the expectation in here was not to be as skinny as possible. It was to work hard and follow the plan and do it the right way. And I think that it takes a lot of integrity to do it that way, and I think Hope held me accountable to doing it that way. So I was really glad that I had her through all that. And now that I've moved past that pageant phase of my life and I'm moving into, I decided it was time to grow up and stop competing for crowns and to go on and get a real job. So in like work life, now I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I stay healthy and keep doing this when I know that I'm not gonna have to be on a stage in a swimsuit and high heels. So she's been with me through a lot of different phases in this. Yeah,
Definitely. I think also doing it the healthy way, she's been able to, like, maintain, you know, her shape and her size and her health without a lot of, like, rebounding and you know, starving and then you know, going back to eating too much, and then your body's like, you know, you just can't feel like you really look a lot like you did, you know, when you competed. I know you probably feel like you're not, you know, on point or whatever. You know, she's probably put on a little bit of good weight after that, but she doesn't look you know, totally different, and she didn't just have to, like, just blow off the rails and everything. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today is, like, she didn't destroy her metabolism trying to do this competition. And so I come from, like, a bodybuilding background, so we did bodybuilding workouts, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
she did do cardio, and she did a lot of that towards the end. But we built muscle. She ate right. She fed herself around her workouts. So we figured out, ways. She was also in school at the time, so being in college and all of that, it was a lot to deal with. And she was living at home, but at the same time she's responsible for like meal prep and stuff like that, so having to make that easy, having to make it work to where you can take it with you and all that stuff. So there was just a lot of different things that we had to deal with, right?
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't get to work with a lot of younger people. I have a few, but I work with primarily older women or women my age, and I know that when we did a challenge not too long ago, and she has a friend that I trained her mom for a little while, Miss Barbara.
Yes.
So we all got meal plans and everything, and then so Barbara's looking at her meal plan as opposed to Barbara's, and was not happy, right?
Oh, I had a Jimmy John sandwich, and she was not happy that was on my meal plan and not on hers. Yeah.
So she was able to, on a diet, still be able to eat Jimmy John's. I think we always had some kind of fast food type thing. It was usually like Subway sandwich or something like that. Excuse me. But I had to talk to Barbara and say, her metabolism is different. She's also had a lot of muscle on her body, which increases metabolism. So when I say metabolism, what that is your body, it's how your body takes in the food and stuff that you take in your body, and then uses it for energy, how it breaks it down in your body. And a lot of different things can affect your metabolism. So age is one of them, but that can even change a little bit if you have more muscle on your body and if you're exercising. So somebody that throughout their life consistently works out and that kind of stuff, they're going to be in a better position than somebody who is super sedentary and has lost a lot of muscle. So tell me a little bit about like what your diet was during when you were competing.
Yeah, while we were competing, you did a really good job of like being able to switch it up for me every few weeks, but really high protein. But I did eat carbs, which was just kind of like shocking to some people. And so it was really balanced. People would be shocked when they saw my meal plan that like you're getting ready for a pageant where you're trying to be as skinny as possible. There's a lot of food
there was
on here.
A lot of food.
I mean, a lot of people say that they're shocked when they get meal plans that it's so much food, but it really was. It was all balanced, but I was never hungry. So
and that was good, right?
Yeah, it was good.
So when we do macros, and so what that means is we just break down our diets into protein, carbs, and fats. And when I do a diet for somebody that is younger, and I'm gonna say like under 25, I'm even shocked at the amount of calories that they can eat and still lose weight. So I can't remember like exactly some of your higher calories, but they were upwards of between 1,800 and 2,000, right? So, and I remember her getting those too, because she would compare her diets to, other pageant girls. So like, what were their diets like?
Well, and I think that's like, pageants are a microcosm of the world, and how it works. And you get around people and you hear about, they say, well, I have eaten 30 calories today, and that's it. And you're like, man, I'm not doing something right. A lot of that, I don't think there's a lot of truth to it. But I would get around them and hear, like, my trainer has completely cut out carbs. I'm eating tilapia 4 times a day, and that's it. And I just remember thinking, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Like, this can't be right. But yeah, I mean, consistency, I think, is what kept it right for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I think that her having so much food made her probably want to go to the gym and make sure that she got her workouts in too. So I know that she would come in here and I could sense just that, just anxiety about, oh my, you know, do we need to cut this? Do we need to do this or that or whatever? Cutting water and all of these different tricks and everything. And I'm looking at her and thinking, you know, you look great and all of that stuff, but just having that pressure on you all the time, and it was a different way than a lot of the other girls, right? So I would be interested to like hear some stories from other pageant girls that when they came out of the competition, you know, how their bodies react and stuff to food.
Yeah. No, I can definitely speak to that is a struggle for a lot of has-been beauty queens. Coming off of the pageant life, weight will come back on so quick. And doing macros for my diet, I've even noticed, so like I competed for Miss Tennessee in June. I did not eat great. And I didn't start seeing the effects of that until November, December, that not eating great and being like, okay, we got to clean this up after the holidays. But I had that, I mean, it took that long.
Before it started catching up with you.
Yeah,
You're
so
saying,
I
got
can,
it. Yes.
it's not like if I'm off for 2 weeks, then it's over. Like, everything's ruined. So.
Yeah. So you kept your calories up high. So even when you started eating not so great, you probably weren't that far off calorie wise than you were before.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, totally get that. And a lot of times too, when you kind of switch over out of that, you get the anxiety off of you, like your cortisol goes down, and like you're kind of relaxed, and your body's like, oh, we're fine now, so we don't need to put on a bunch of weight and all those kinds of things. So, I think I just wanted to do this video with her, particularly because I see a lot of people, younger people, wanting to do these extreme diets and stuff, and you don't have to. I just want to encourage you to just get healthy.
Yeah.
And like trying to feed your body with good healthy foods, but that you can eat a lot of calories when you're younger, and you should do that because you are not destroying your metabolism for later. So if you start when you're 18 to 20 years old on 1,200 calorie diets and stuff like that, you are slowing your metabolism down, and you are going to have to fight that for the rest of your life. You do not want to eat 1,200 calories, right?
Yeah, I know, that sounds miserable.
Yes, it's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. I feel like even for me, I'm thinking 2,000 is hard for me. So you want to build yourself up, and it takes a lot of mental strength, I think, to get on board with that. And because I watched her, we had to constantly kind of have those conversations of, you're okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's not what you hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did have to have a lot of those grounding moments. And I will, I would just get in my head, because I think my body type is not, it's different than a lot of pageant girls, a lot of my friends. And so that would get in my head. And so trying to just come in here and focus on not fitting the mold of this is what Miss Tennessee looks like, but this is what the best Kristen looks like. And always I did not stay in that place. I had to continually come back to that place.
Yeah.
But that's good. That was great training ground, because that's life anyways. So yeah, still working on doing that at 5:15 in the morning, twice a week. So
she's been good. She started coming back on training and stuff, and it makes me happy, because I feel like you've kind of made that your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it'll always be something that's important to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I eat the donut. And
and you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to get out of that too, breaking this is being bad. You know, and I would feel guilty telling you like, Hannah and I went to Donut Country last night, but I'm 22 and so getting over that and realizing like there's always a choice. Like nobody ever like chained me to a fence and said you can't go get Donut Country. I can always go if I want to. It's just weighing the options. So.
Yeah. And that's a big thing is I think when you do all of the extreme dieting and stuff like that, food does become this enemy to you.
Yeah.
And so putting anything in your mouth causes anxiety.
Right.
Yeah. So that is a thing that I feel like we're doing like an injustice to younger people younger women by not telling them that food is not your enemy. And I think that it's just a lack of knowledge, really, because I feel like we got the best results, as far as in comparison. When I was looking at the other competitors, and she was well fed, and like her hair wasn't falling out, like her skin was glowing. She did get really, really small. And probably smaller than you feel comfortable being all the time. Not look-wise, you always want to look small or whatever, but the feeling, I mean, that's still hard. Like she's still dieted hard and had some hard moments. And I'm sure she's, had moments that I didn't even know about that were, up and down or whatever, but she pulled it off at the end and it was really good, but it was good for me to watch you do that too, to build confidence in myself and saying, I'm glad that I did stick with that with you, and I feel like ultimately, long term, we did a good thing.
Yeah. I think it would have been easy for you as a trainer to give me quick results for what I wanted, give me an 8-week plan where I was going to be starving and miserable the whole time, couldn't focus on school or anything else. And I would have got up there and been skinny, but to stick to what even when like I was like fighting with it, you were watching me fight with it, like to stay with that. 3 years we did it, so
and she got better and better just when she kept with the workouts and building muscle on her body. She does not look like a bodybuilder, but she does have muscle on her body, and that has improved and it will improve her metabolism long term. So, and I think that she's also probably coming from that pageant scene too. Muscles sound like, oh my gosh, I don't want that, right? So did you have a hard time like at first wanting to lift weights?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of my friends and people I competed with, which is, it's their journey and their thing, but the majority of their time was spent on cardio. And when we would talk about workouts, and I'm like, well, I'm lifting for 30 minutes a day, and I feel like I'm getting results, but I'm not spending an hour on the treadmill, which I couldn't have even if I wanted to hate cardio. But it was just, that battle of not knowing if what I was doing was right, which is for anyone, because there's so many things out there that when you start doing something, everyone's going to have something to say about it, why it's wrong and why their way is right. And so just finding your thing and what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like she learned too that she didn't have to over suffer to get the results that she needed. So she was hearing these people that were just dying, like 2 times a day, cardio and that kind of thing. And your result, standing side by side with those people, you had the same results, but you weren't dying. And you weren't starving to death. And you came out the other side healthy, so it was a good thing.
I think so.
Yeah. So do you have anything else you would like to talk about like the young people thing, just encouraging?
Yeah, I think it's important to do the work now, but like with any age and any person, I think you've touched on this in your other videos, the internal work has to come first. It doesn't matter what age you are, like what weight you're starting at or whatever. It's always the inside work that has to happen first, or none of the other stuff is going to matter.
Yes.
So realizing that before you start, that it can't just be like torturing yourself and you're miserable. And it's got to be a choice and some real inward stuff.
Yeah,
before.
and it has to take a turn towards like health.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's one thing I like to teach people is like, if you can get on board with the health part of it, it makes it easier to stick, because if you're constantly like all of the dieting and the exercising and all of that is for me to get skinny, you know, that's hard to like stick to.
Yeah.
You know. But if you can learn why things are the way they are and why you should eat a certain way, it makes choices better. And you start to realize, you know, that things in your life are better, like in terms of sleep and brain function and my skin, and all of those things are better because I choose to do these healthy things, not restriction.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so funny how we like quickly forget how good we feel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times I've come in here and been like, I feel so good. I don't know what's happened. And you're like, are you drinking your water? I'm like, yeah. It's crazy how that works. When you're hydrated, you feel so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to remember how that feels, and that it, cause yeah, if you're just wanting to be skinny in that moment where you're sitting in a restaurant with your friends and you're starving, that's not going to be enough to keep you from
It is not
ordering the chicken tenders
Right.
and fries. It's just not motivating enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get to the health part of it, then that's when it can really be solid. And consistent. Yeah.
Solid. That's good. That's a good way to describe it. It's just having that. It's a foundation, really. Yeah. So just want to encourage anybody that's just younger, any younger women, that you can eat more when you're younger and still have good body composition. And just encourage you to do that, because if you think about it, probably right now, you know, just like she said, when she went back to doing, you know, some of the not so healthy eating, she didn't gain the weight back because her calories on her restrictive plan were still high. So that just proves again that you can, you know, do that. And, you know, we also talked a lot about, she was in school at the time, and so like sleep became you know, an issue. And so when we got towards I don't even remember the lowest calories, but I don't think it ever got lower than like 1,700 or something like that. Yeah, so that's still a good amount of calories, but she suffered a little bit, you know, and things like sleep started. I mean, had started having issues with sleep and that kind of stuff, and wearing your body down, and like we had to think about, you know, is she getting the right minerals? Is she getting, you know, all these things, and then having to sort of like, you know, juggle that stuff. So even at that amount of calories, she was starting to, her body was not, you know, happy with that at all. Yeah. So, and that sounds like a lot of calories to a lot of women, and it's not sufficient when you are exercising every day. You know, if you're sedentary and you're not doing anything at all, that might be fine. But if you're trying to be active and you're trying to have a brain function correctly, it's not enough. Yeah. So anyway, I just is there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
No. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And helping me spread the word for good nutrition for younger people. And thanks for trusting me and sticking with the plan whenever you were sort of questioning that.
I could sing your praises all day. I just, it's been I think it's set me up for a lot of good when it comes to health and the future, and I'm glad I'm starting it this way.
Me
early.
too.
So
Me too.
Yeah.
I love you to death. I'm so super proud of you. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just leave them below. We'll get back to you. If you have any questions for Kristen,
Yeah.
we can get those to her as well. So thanks again.